You know, I literally just got done watching Fantastic Four, and I watched it yesterday. And this is a blind buy, so uh, boy, this is going to be a this is going to cut through the chase. I watched it twice. I watched it last night because I've been fighting a cold for the last couple of weeks. This was a weird cold, but anyway, uh, I took my Alka-Seltzer Plus, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and throw up a video real quick about this uh, Fantastic Four. So I watched it last night, and I was sitting there, and it was a blind buy. And Disney, I just don't get into Disney. It's hard for a guy like me because I was born in 1959, so you got to understand the Disney I grew up with is not the Disney that I'm exposed to now. And Endgame was the last good Marvel movie that was put out. I mean, I enjoyed Doctor Strange a little bit, but I didn't get into the some of the stuff that was in it. I also liked Sony Spider Man, but I don't like that. I don't like Tom Holland Spider Man that much, but I did like the one where all the Spider Mans was together. I did go see that one, and it made $1 billion. Uh, Doctor Strange didn't do too bad. It made almost 900 and some dollars, so it didn't do too bad. But I enjoyed that one too, but not that much. But Endgame was the end of the Marvel that I was enjoying. I mean, I used to go to when it come to Marvel, man. I was right there. It was just like, oh my god, I can't wait to go see it. They had some, early on, you had Thor that the Dark something that was kind of all right, but it wasn't that great. What else? For the most part, maybe there might have been a few before Infinity War, but Captain America and the Winter Soldier and Civil War and the first two Iron Mans. The third one wasn't bad. And then, but the best one of them all is Infinity War. That Infinity War was Infinity War just clicked on all cylinders. I can watch Endgame, but Infinity War it was like a chef's kiss. I mean, it was like a chef's kiss. But anyway, let's get the reason why I'm talking about this because a guy at work is the one that talked. He said we were talking about getting weapons, and I wasn't able to get weapons because of the fact that weapons wasn't available in the slipcover. So I got to order it from Amazon, but I already got it on digital. So anyway, I decided to get this on a blind buy, and I got it on a blind buy. And like I said, I liked back in the day when my boys was little. I liked the first two Fantastic Fours, and I liked that Silver Surfer one a lot. And so I didn't think that cast was that bad, but uh, just you know, I went into this, man. I was very skeptical. The guy last night says, guy at work, he was like, man, it's Tuesday, man. He said I'm gonna go pick up my movies, and he was gonna pick up 3 movies. He was gonna pick up Weapons, and then he was gonna pick up Fantastic Four, and then he was gonna pick up Tom Cruise movie. And I said, yeah, man. I said, I'm gonna go try to get Weapons, man. I hope they got a slipcover, and they didn't. So anyway, he said, man, I'm gonna get that Fantastic Four. I said, I thought you said you wasn't gonna get that. He goes, man, everybody's telling me it was all right. I said, I'm hearing mid reviews. I said, I heard good reviews, and I heard mid reviews. And so he watched Weapons last night. He came up to me and he says, man, I watched Weapons. I said, I thought you said you went to the theater to go see Weapons. He goes, no, I didn't go see it. He goes, oh my God, dude, I loved it. So he loved Weapons. Then I asked him, did he see Fantastic Four? He said he's going to wait till the weekend to go see it. So I was sitting there listening to him talk, and I was like, hey, I watched it. So I told him, I said, well, he said, man, everybody I talked to, I said, man, I'm surprised I just, coercing him to talk. Man, I was sitting there, we was at work. I said, yeah, man. I said, you got that Fantastic Four, man. I said, I was just wanting to see what you said. Well, he said, everybody said it was good, man. He said, all my friends on Discord, was talking about this, and that. And I'm sitting there listening to him like this. And I said, well, you know what, man? I said, you know, you went to go get your video pickups. I said, I went to get mine. I said, I wasn't able to get weapons. He goes, you ought to get it on Amazon. I said, I am going to get it on Amazon. I said, but you know what? I said, when you said you was going to get Fantastic Four, I said, I decided to go get it. Now I said, and man, I said, from what I seen last night, this is what I told him today. I said, that movie's pretty good, man. I said, that movie surprised me like Thunderbolts. I said, you and I didn't go see Thunderbolts because the way Disney has been doing movies. And I said, you didn't go see Thunderbolts, and you bought Thunderbolts. I bought Thunderbolts. You liked it till the end. I liked the whole thing. I said, man. He goes, well, I'm going to watch it this weekend. I said, man, Ryan. I said, I'm glad you kind of put it in my ear. His name is Ryan. I said, because I watched it last night, dude, and I've been fighting, you know, kind of fighting the cold. I said, so I had to go to bed, man. I have to be in bed by 9:30. I said, but I went to bed and I'm sitting there going like this. I was like, I'm trying to figure out what was wrong with that movie, you know. So I decided to come home, got me a good workout in, man, you know, and I just finished this. I watched it twice. This is my second watch. And I have to tell you, I couldn't find anything wrong with this movie at all, period. I was trying to figure out if there was a pacing issue. I didn't think there was a pacing issue. I was trying to find out if there was anything wrong with the characters. I didn't find anything wrong with the characters. I was trying to find anything wrong with the story. I didn't find anything wrong with the story. I really did try to find stuff wrong with it. And I really need to quit watching movies like this because I think that I told Ryan, I said, you know, when you and I go see movies, we see movies that most of the people talk that's not good. And when we watch it, we like it. I said, I'm starting to get to a point where I have to stop paying attention to what people are talking about when it comes to movies. He goes, yeah. I said, it's all right to listen to them, but I said, sometimes you just got to go in on your own. Then I said something like, I said, like Thunderbolts, man. I said, Thunderbolts, man, surprised me. I was shocked how good that was. And I said, then, Ryan, I watched it because you said you was going to buy it. So I decided to buy it because you had me interested because you said your friends on Discord, you know. And I said, so I watched it last night. And he said, well, I'm waiting till this weekend. I said, well, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I really liked the way that thing was set up. I really do. And the Galactus, man, I was trying to look at Galactus, and I was sitting there going like this, like, I don't know, man. They did a pretty good job with Galactus. I thought he looked pretty daggone good. I was really, and that Silver Surfer chick, Julia Gardner, man, I thought her character was good. I liked everything about her. I was sitting there. I liked what the spaceship was going through the wormhole and it was going through the warp speed part. I like when they met up with Galactus and he said he wanted the baby. And then she had to have the baby on the ship. I heard people was complaining about, well, she had the baby on the ship, so how was the baby this, and that and stuff when she got back to the planet? And I was like, oh, come on, you guys. Stop nitpicking so much. So I went through that sequence when she was having the baby when they was trying to get away from that Silver Surfer chick. I was trying to watch, see if I could find anything I thought might be wrong with it. And I was sitting there going like this. I said to myself, damn, Vic, this is just a movie, man. I said to myself, damn, Vic, don't you remember back in the day when you used to watch movies? I'll tell you what the problem is. I didn't get on YouTube. I couldn't stand YouTube. I used to watch YouTube and I go, why are people watching all this stuff? And that's how I was with YouTube. The only time I got on YouTube is when something happened in this house and people used to tell me at work, get on YouTube, man. If you're having something wrong with your phone, if you have something wrong with your laptop or your computer, get on YouTube and over. And sure enough, I get on YouTube and I can fix it. But I never got on YouTube for nothing. So I'm watching that sequence with the baby and stuff. And I was trying to figure out if there was something wrong with that. Now, you got to understand, this is a person that literally likes movies. It has to be. Now, I get it. There are movies out there that are bad. But most time when I upload something about a movie on here, I usually have good things to say about it. There was comedic moments in there too, but it wasn't like in your face. I think that Sue Storms, I love her character. I thought that woman that played that role did a good job. Pedro Pascal. I never really had a problem with Pedro Pascal. I think it's his name, if I'm pronouncing it right. The reason why I have an issue with him is because I get on YouTube and I listen to all these people on YouTube. If I vote in the middle, or if I vote on the right, if I vote on the left, because I voted all over the place because that's how I am. I'm an in the middle kind of guy. But lately I've been kind of like voting on the other side, if you catch my drift, because that other side's kind of messed up. But anyway, YouTube has put a bad taste in my mouth. I ain't dogging on YouTube at all, but what my problem is I've been going through a YouTube cleansing. I ain't been on YouTube that much. If I do get on YouTube, it's about, I usually get on there to watch somebody that picks up video games to play, and I want to hear what they have to say about a video game, and that's very selective. So I've been getting off YouTube as far as listening to people talk about movies. Plus, they're sucking the joy out of it. What I can't stand, you guys, really, to be honest with you, and I'm gonna try to hurry up because I gotta go to bed, is I don't like I want to watch the Black Phone. I'm jacked up for the Black Phone. I gotta make sure I don't turn on anything about the Black Phone, because I came home yesterday and there was one guy, I ain't gonna say his name, already seen Black Phone. It was today is Wednesday. This man's seen Black Phone already and had his YouTube up. And I get it. Y'all, a lot of people's like, well, yeah, that's what they do, man. They get early screening. I don't want to hear about no damn early screening. And I think that's my problem. I want to tell you what I used to do. I love watching movies. And I didn't know movies was bad until I got on YouTube. And then when I got on YouTube and I seen all these YouTubers, man, it was like, I was looking, I was like, damn, what's all these people? And then I hearing all these different views and all these intakes and, all their different takes on it and everything. I was like, damn. And they made me see things they made me to see movies differently than movies I was in love with. I was like, yeah, that wasn't that movie. That is terrible. But then I was like, I still like the movie, but I didn't know all these things. You know how I used to watch movies? I used to watch movies and I used to see how much the movie would make on the weekend. And I would always get on a site and see, like, it could be box office chart, and I see, I see. And I say, man, I went and seen what's in him. I could tell somebody, I said, I went and seen a movie this weekend. I said, the box office chart had them, they was ranked number one. They said how much it made. I say something. I said, well, it didn't make that much, but it was still number one at the box office. I said 48, 68, 100 million. So whatever that movie that I liked came out, I would look at the chart, and that's all I did till I got on YouTube, until I started paying attention to a lot of people about what they have to say. Now, you're probably sitting there saying, well, aren't you talking about the movie yourself? Right. Well, I'm just saying that I enjoyed the movie. And I thought the movie had a really different look. I mean, I was like looking at I love the style. I love the way that Earth looked. And it was a different type of Earth. Because I was thinking about the Earth that the Thunderbolts was on. Now I was thinking about the Earth that the Fantastic Four was on. And I love the set design. I love the way the people was dressed. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was trying to find. They had some incredible vibes in here. I ain't gonna lie, because when that guy came out, that mole dude came out from up under the ground. There was a shot in there. I said, man, they picked that up right out of Incredibles, man, because at the end of Incredibles, that thing that came out of the ground with that thing that had the dirt, that guy is the exact same guy that was in Incredibles. I forgot his name. He was, because he ended up being in Incredibles too, because they went down and beat that guy up, and then the Incredibles got in trouble because they had so much double. The Underminer is what his name was in Incredibles. I said, man, they picked that up out of Incredibles. And then, Torch, the Torch dude, he gave me some Tony Stark vibes, man. He kind of has some Tony Stark. he kind of looked like Robert Downey Jr. the way he was talking and the way he was acting. I don't think he was doing it on purpose, but I said, boy, he reminds me of Tony Stark and Iron Man. The way he, the guy that the human flame. But Pedro Pascal, man, I thought he did all right. Even though I know a lot of people say he's in a lot of movies and stuff, he is. But I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about Pedro Pascal until I started paying attention to YouTube, you guys. But this is my second watch, and it's getting late. I need to go to bed. But I have to tell you, I am really glad I bought this. At the end of the day, I'm really glad I bought this. This is a good blind buy. I think Disney is doing a good job trying to clean their act up. I wish Disney did not own some of this property. I really do. I wish that somebody else owned it. But all the movie industries, man, Paramount Plus, Warner Brothers, all of them, man, they're trying to sell each other off and everything. Or everybody's trying to, buy each other up, and try to be one big thing. I miss the old days when it was Paramount, Warner Brothers, MGM, I can't think of some of the names, but Fox, Fox got bought by Disney. I was all into Disney when Disney first started. I thought Disney was going, but Disney, I'm not going to lie, Disney does a lot of stuff I just don't care for. I mean, they push a lot of stuff that I just do not get into. But anyway, at the end of the day, they are off to a good start because this really shocked me. I had no problem with this one. And I am really glad I bought this. This is very good. And at the end of this, you seen a spaceship of the Fantastic Four coming into their planet. And then at the end of this one, you seen Dr. Doom or whatever that dude, Robert Downey Jr. is playing the Doom thing. They showed that little thing where she walked back in and then her the little boy, her little baby boy had his hand on the guy's face, but you couldn't see his face, and he had his mask. He was holding his mask. I said, okay, all right. I said, okay. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say something else, but I think that's it. It's just that the look and the whole setup, and I don't know. Like I told y'all, man, this is my second time watching it. I watched it last night when I bought it. And then I watched it just now and I got done with it. And I ain't gonna lie, I really like I love the way it looks. I love the way they set up that Earth. They made it look so totally different. They made it really look like they was on a different Earth. I love the crowd, the way the Earth looked, the way the people were dressed in the crowd. I mean, different. It was really very impressive, man. Not gonna lie. I could sit here and dog on this all I want, but there's nothing to dog with. There's nothing to dog. Now, if you want somebody that's a YouTuber, that's a real nitpicking YouTuber that really knows how to slice and dice, I'm not that, this is so-and-so and it was directed by so-and-so and such and so-and-so. I can't do that because it just ain't me. I know Kevin Feige's behind it, right? I do know that. But when I listen to other YouTubers, welcome back to the channel. This is so-and-so, and then I watched so-and-so, and it's produced and directed by so-and-so. They smooth, man. They smooth. I ain't that guy. I know this is Kevin Feige's toy, though. Kevin Feige is behind Marvel. And, like I said, I don't care for Disney because they're into that stuff that I don't care for. I told you guys, I do not get into men and men being together. I don't get into women and women being together at all. But that's fine. You do you. I'll do me. I just don't like it shoved in my face. I don't like political stuff being thrown in my face. I don't like messages and all that kind of stuff. But I'll be honest with you, I ain't seen any of that in here. It just was like, I felt like I was in a different world when I was watching this. I really did. I felt like you were in a different world. You was on a whole different planet Earth when you watched this. They really did a good job capturing that vibe. So my hats off to everybody that's involved in making this. My hats off involved to everybody that's involved in these two movies right here. Both these movies. Thunderbolts. I enjoyed Thunderbolts. I might watch Thunderbolts tomorrow because I just love Thunderbolts. I did like that little scene where it showed at the end. It showed that spaceship coming into Earth and it had four on the craft, and the same craft that was in Thunderbolts is the craft they used to go out in space. But they did a good job with Galactus. You know, like I said, man, I grew up with a lot of comics, man. You know, being born in '59, man, and I ain't gonna lie, you guys, I miss the old Disney. You know, I wasn't exposed to men licking each other and kissing each other and two chicks kissing each other and licking each other. I just grew up with comedy and drama and horror, and I didn't have nobody doing any kind of, preaching to you. That's it, so it's hard for me to go out here and get into watching a movie because I'm afraid of what I'm going to run into. I pay my money and then I got to go in there and I'll be like, oh man, that's in here. If I know this was in here, I wouldn't have came in here, and I don't like that. But you know what? God bless you guys. Have a great evening. I'm going to bed. But like I said, man, they are off to a very good start with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. This is two blind buys that I am thoroughly pleased with that I bought. And I like at the end that guy was the Underminer. He wasn't the Underminer though. But I said, man, they picking some stuff off of they picking some stuff off of Incredibles, man, because Incredibles is so good. The first one is the best one. Incredibles 2 is cool too, though. But anyway, you guys, I can rant and rave about that. I just feel like once I turn this camera off, there'll be some things I'm missing, but they did a good job fleshing out these characters. I know a lot of people's like, well, they should have. I heard some YouTuber, again, say, well, I would have liked it better if they would have showed what they went through and how they become what they became. But we all know what happened to them. They got caught up in some kind of cosmic storm out in space and they came back all with these powers and stuff. I didn't need all that. Because I read the comics when I was a little kid. And so I get that if that's what you was looking into. And then I heard some people say they was bored. I just got done watching it for the second time. Because I bought this yesterday on a blind buy. I bought Fantastic Four on the blind buy because my buddy at work, because he always comes up to me at work, goes, man, it's Tuesday, man. I said, what are you going to get this week? And he said, I go like that. So, oh man, I forgot that's coming out. I said, I'm glad you told me. So then when he gets off, I get off work for him. When I get off work, he plants it in my ear and then I go to Walmart and go get it. If I can't get it at Walmart, I get it at Amazon. So that's how I picked this up. He was talking about, yeah, my friends on Discord, man, was telling me how good this is, and I was like, really? I said, Fantastic Four, man. I said, it's Disney. I said, Disney be doing all that stuff that we don't like. I said, he said, yeah, but all my friends said I like, so he playing it. I said, well, I'm gonna go pick up weapons, so I'll check it out. And I bought it. It was good. It's good, man. I ain't gonna lie, you guys. I really like it. There's nothing I can say, man. They did a good job. Everybody. A round of applause. A round of applause. To all the people that made the movie, to the actors, to the people that plugged in the damn electric cord to turn on the studio lights. Everybody that's involved in making these movies. Because they're there to entertain us, Everybody that's involved. Makeup artists, set design, stunts, I'm just thanking them all for making a good movie. I like this. I like this. Marvel, Kevin Feige, Disney, I guess, you're doing pretty good. You're starting to get your mojo back because this right here was shockingly good, and this you knocked it out of the park. God bless. Take care, and we'll catch y'all in the next video. We'll see you.